Hey guys, I hope you're doing great. Today I want to break down 5 common mistakes when trying to play blues. Now sometimes it's actually easier to use the power of inversion instead of actually telling someone what to do. It's good to reverse engineer what makes a bad blues player and try to avoid those common mistakes. So that's what we're going to go over today. Okay, so let's start with a big one. Overplaying. Now we're all guilty of it sometimes, but if you look at any of the greats, they never overplayed. Sometimes they might go a bit crazy and go for it on a solo, but if you listen to B.B. King or Otis Rush, anyone like that, they are certainly using the less is more kind of approach. So that was completely overplayed. There might be a time and a place for it, but listen to the difference in feel to this next approach. So you can really hear the difference there. Instead of trying to cram in as many notes as you can, sometimes just try and sit back, relax and hang on the note, and it just builds anticipation, gives the listener a bit of time as well just to process what's going on rather than a massive flurry of notes. Okay, next up we have weak or uncontrolled bends and vibrato. I sort of whacked these into the same category because there's nothing that turns me off when listening to blues as much as these two things, and they're both, because of the same lack of technique. It's uneven and it's anxious, and whereas a more controlled one, if you study guys like Robert Cray and Otis Rush, they have such nice slow vibrato. I think that's one of the things to maybe try. Just slow it down a bit and don't have that rushed, uneven vibrato. Try and actually get a more... You want to be completely in control of the note rather than just trying to do vibrato. Also, lumped into this same one is overbending. Like if you go... That right there, the note is overbent. Then you've got the vibrato to finish, which is anxious. You don't want either of those, in my opinion. Now, this one's my favorite one, actually. It's something that not a lot of people talk about, I don't think, but it's the lack of the element of surprise. Now, a lot of blues is completely predictable, and as I'm getting older, I'm listening to less and less players because it's very predictable, especially in the blues genre. But then there's guys like Albert Collins and Philip Sayce. Both of those guys, they have an air of unpredictability in their playing. And sometimes they'll just go into a bend and you're like, where did that come from? Because it wasn't on the cards. Here's an example of a predictable solo with no element of surprise. Whereas you get someone like Philip Sayce, he'll just be doing something like... That's just reminded me as well, Buddy Guy does it amazingly. He'll be just doing something... I don't know, it's just raw and exciting and unpredictable. So a little helpful tip to maybe incorporate this into your playing is to maybe just throw in a random lick where you don't feel like it should be. And especially slides up and down the neck work really well for this. So you can go... Now I've just thought of a little bonus tip on this one. Try that exact thing. Try doing a slide on the G string and end up somewhere random and bend up while you're sliding up. And wherever you are, try and recover from that situation. I'll try and do it now a few different ways. the fourth one is be careful, very careful about the lack of dynamics and expression in your playing. Now, a lack of dynamics is one of the quickest ways to switch off a listener. We've all heard solos where it's just one velocity throughout the whole solo. You're going to switch off. You need the highs and the lows. Tin Pan Alley by Stevie Ray Vaughan is a really good example of the use of dynamics. Whereas here's just a blues solo without any dynamics. A bit like one of the previous tips, a way to integrate this into your playing, if you don't already have it, is to just throw in random higher velocity notes. Just randomly, just try it. Like, Now finally, let's talk about overusing the pentatonic and blues scale. Now it's funny because I get a lot of people in the comment sections on our videos say, Chris, you should really start integrating more than the blues scale. But if you analyze what I'm doing, or a lot of other players, it's certainly not just the pentatonic scale. There's so many other nuances thrown in, which might be from the Dorian scale or Mixolydian, whatever it might be. Here's just a straight blues pentatonic kind of lick. Now here's throwing in some extra jazz notes, and you can hear how it spices up quite a lot. So as you can hear, it really spices up your playing a bit. You don't want to go too crazy unless you are a jazz player, but yeah, it certainly does break up the monotony of a simple pentatonic and blues scale lick. So there you go, guys. There's a few of the common mistakes that I personally hear in other people's playing, and it's good to avoid those if overused. Sometimes all of those are fine that I've showed you today, but if all of those things are sustained together, I don't want to listen to you. But yeah, hopefully you guys have got a bit of value out of today's video. If so, please subscribe and drop a comment to let us know how you've got on. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. We'll catch you on the next one, and cheers.